Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, business owners versus the city of Langdon. What prompted the confrontation? What did Derek Chauvin's cryptic comment in the courtroom mean? Plus, could a booster be unnecessary for the COVID vaccine? Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, several Langdon, North Dakota business owners spoke out against a proposed city ordinance that they say could change how they make a living. Valley News Team's Deshae Taylor has the specifics from Langdon.
A proposed city ordinance in Langdon has been brewing much debate for about 2 years. The ordinance would change the way utility bills are shared between tenants running businesses in the same building. Christy Mostaller, who recently purchased a building in the center of town and owns Pristine Massage, is one of the many business owners that could feel the effects of this possible change.
If I have people come in and teaching yoga classes or doing massage or whatever, the city wants to bill me a city bill per business in my building.
Scott Anderson is the owner of Bottle Barn and FM Mall, which houses multiple businesses in one space. He currently gets charged $95 per unit for utilities. He believes this billing style is not equal.
Charge accordingly, not for some people that don't use it, and it just doesn't seem like it's right, and I don't know if any other community around ever does anything like this.
Property and business owner Lance Schill says charging nearly $100 for each business that is run out of his building would take a huge percentage out of his profits.
That's 20% of our income for each unit. So now for the next how many years, if this goes through, they're basically going to take 20% of my money just for water, sewer, and garbage.
But city leaders say this proposal is one way to recoup unpaid money.
One thing that this ordinance will do is it allows for more fair enforcement of non-bill paying people.
But not everyone agreed, and during a city council meeting, the debate came to a head as the mayor expressed his thoughts.
The city commission has been working on this ordinance for almost 2 years with very little input from the business community, only complaints.
Many of the business owners expressed their input in hope to get answers to their questions. But in the end, the discussion did not come to a resolution as the second reading was postponed. In Langdon, Deshae Taylor, Valley News Live.
And the Langdon City Council will go back to the drawing board to consider input from business owners and revise certain language proposed in that ordinance. By the narrowest of margins, Fargo City Commissioners tonight passing a hate crime ordinance. It aims to provide additional penalties to crimes of simple assault, harassment, and criminal mischief. Some in the audience at tonight's council meeting cheered after the 3-2 vote. It allows for residents to be charged if they commit one of 3 crimes because of the victim's race, color, religion, gender, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, or ancestry. The added charge would carry a penalty of $1,500 or 30 days in jail, which is the harshest punishment a city can dish out. The Fargo family is asking for your help identifying the man they say smashed up their Corvette over the weekend. You can just barely see it in the family's security video. It happened just before 4 Sunday morning in the 700 block of 17th Street South, with a man kicking in the car's back window and smashing its rear view mirrors. The family says they aren't totally shocked, adding that neighborhood has gained a lot of foot traffic over the past few years, and with it has seen a lot more trouble.
We all have cameras up and security systems, the whole 9 yards. We keep our cars locked, we keep our garages locked, our houses locked, but this is just kind of what we deal with.
And they're asking others in the area to look back at any security video that they might have from late Saturday night into early Sunday morning to hopefully better identify the man responsible. Still no sign of 24-year-old Christopher Lane. Grand Forks police are looking to charge him with attempted murder, motor vehicle theft, and reckless endangerment after a shooting Saturday at the Quality Inn. If you have any information on where Lane may be, contact Grand Forks police. Meanwhile, Fargo police arrested a man after a shooting incident downtown. They say Abshir Hussein was charged with aggravated reckless endangerment and terrorizing. He was identified through surveillance video and someone spotted his vehicle. The trial starts tomorrow for a man accused of killing Grand Forks police officer Cody Holte. Salama Pendleton is charged with 2 murders during a standoff, Officer Holte and his own mother. That trial is expected to last until mid-July. Derek Chauvin may be close to a plea deal with federal prosecutors. The former Minneapolis police officer was sentenced to 22.5 years for the death of George Floyd last week, but he still faces a federal indictment, alleging he and 3 other officers violated Floyd's constitutional rights. Reporter Esme Murphy has this story.
Multiple sources tell WCCO that Derek Chauvin is close to a plea deal with federal prosecutors, and that may be what he was referring to when he made that mysterious comment to the Floyd family during sentencing.
I want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind.
As part of a possible plea deal, Chauvin would have to publicly explain what he did to George Floyd and why, a question that Floyd's brother poignantly asked at sentencing.
I wanted to know from the man himself, why? What were you thinking?
Sources tell WCCO that as part of the plea, Chauvin could get a 20 to 25-year sentence, which he would serve at the same time as the state sentence, and that he would serve his time in federal, not state prison. If convicted in federal court, Chauvin could face life in prison. Former Hennepin County Chief Public Defender Mary Moriarty says Chauvin has to be thinking about the swift guilty verdict in the state case.
Does Derek Chauvin have incentive to try and negotiate a plea deal with the feds?
Very much so. And that's because in federal court, there would be a substantial difference between what he would receive if he went to trial and he was convicted versus what he would get if he pled guilty and do what they would say is take responsibility for his actions.
We don't know the current status of these plea talks. It's important to remember that another plea deal collapsed at the 11th hour back in May of 2020. The U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment.
Derek Chauvin was a field training officer while he was a Minneapolis police officer, and that means he was responsible for training new officers while on patrol. Now the city is taking a closer look at that program. Video from pro-militia outlet in Iraq claims to show the aftermath of the recent U.S. airstrike on the Iraqi-Syrian border. At least 4 Iran-backed fighters were killed in the airstrikes, with militia groups saying, quote, "This crime will not go unpunished." The airstrike was ordered by President Biden last night. Annual boosters of the COVID-19 vaccine may not be necessary. A new study indicates some COVID vaccines could offer long-term protection, longer than the protection offered by flu vaccines, which need boostering every year. Researchers found people who got 2 doses of Pfizer's vaccine produced a type of immune cell called a B cell, which should, in theory, keep pumping out protection for years, making follow-up vaccines unnecessary for the time being. Experts are now looking at people who recovered from an infection and then got vaccinated. Doctors in Pittsburgh confirm a case of a person getting blood clots after receiving Moderna's COVID vaccine. The 65-year-old man died after blood clots formed in his brain, legs, and lungs. Officials say it's possible the shot caused the clots, but also add that the patient had a staph infection, which can also cause clots. Outside experts say one case of clots after hundreds of millions of vaccines does not prove there's a link between the two. A volcano in Costa Rica registered a new eruption today. Watch this, one of the most powerful ones since 2011. It lasted 3 minutes and spewed volcanic material into nearby rivers. Access to the volcano, located in a national park, has been closed for the last 10 years due to the volcano's state of activity. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi continues to push for an investigation into the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. Today, Pelosi introduced a resolution to create a special select committee to look into the attack. The committee would be made up of 13 members total, 5 from the minority, 8 from the majority. A senior Democratic aide says Pelosi is considering adding a Republican among her 8 appointees. The group would have subpoena power. The resolution is scheduled for a vote by the House on Wednesday. And a mini statue of the Liberty is on its way to the United States from France. The 10-foot-tall bronze statue is expected to reach Ellis Island on July 1st, just in time for Independence Day. It would then be moved to the French ambassador's residence in Washington, D.C. That statue weighs 992 pounds. It was made from the original 1878 plaster model, and it's been displayed at the Paris Museum since 2011. The Northern Lights is ready to go. Today, a ribbon cutting marked the opening of the new mixed-use community offering 196 apartments and over 10,000 square feet of commercial space along Cheyenne Street in West Fargo.
There's over 15,000 square feet of common area in this building. There's a community room. There's a fitness center that's bigger than the number of the gyms in Fargo. Every time we build a building, we try and make it better.
The community is connected via Skywalk to the Lights parking ramp and Essentia Health Plaza at the Lights. Still ahead tonight on Valley News Live at 10. Some precautions you may not think about that you should be taking before lighting off any fireworks. But first, some of us saw some raindrops tonight. Will there be more? Hutch has the answer and your forecast.